Sometimes when you create code for a web form application, it's a good idea to bundle together with your classes some JavaScript files or other CSS files or images which are useful for the web application, and to bundle them together in a single DLL which you can add to your project. So in order to do that, one way is creating embedded resources. And let's do how it works and how easy it is to use them in your web application. So I will start creating a new project. I will create an empty Visual Studio blank solution, and I will name it solution. I will name it embedded resource. Okay, and now I will add my class library, which will contain all my code. Let's name it class library 1, doesn't matter how you name it. Okay. In your class library, you will add all your code, but that's not what we will see now. And what we will see is how to embed your JavaScript file. So in order to do that, first of all, you need to add a reference. You need to add a reference to system.web, which is the only reference you need, except for those that you will need for other your other code. And next, you have to add your JavaScript file that you want to embed as a resource. So I will add a simple, very, very simple JavaScript file, which will do nothing more than a basic thank function, which we will name as test alert, no parameters, and all it will do is do an alert and say hello. Of course, you will want to add your namespaces and many other good practices, but now let's keep things very, very simple and concentrate on the point. And here is the most important part. You have to set this JavaScript file as an embedded resource in the properties of the file. And next, you have to add in your assembly this file, because you have to notify that you want to add this file as a web resource. And to do that, you have to add this assembly, which is a web resource. Web resource. Okay, and now you have to tell the assembly which file you want. Now it's very important to note that you have to give a full notation. Here you have to give your namespace, which is in our case is class library 1. Copy it from here. I rather always do some copy paste rather than some misspelling. And here is your JavaScript file. Again, copy paste to avoid misspelling. And now you have to text JavaScript. Okay, and that's all for the assembly. Now your class library is ready to be used, and we can just add now here a new project, a new website. Let's keep things very, very simple. An empty website. Give me a second to grab the right path. Okay, website one, website two because already website one. Okay, doesn't matter where this website is saved. The important thing is that we add a reference to our class library. Okay, that's what we want. And now that we have added the reference, we are ready to add a new web form, which can be S1. Okay, and in order to use the embedded resource, we can just override our on what I've done before, protected override, correct. I have to add a protected override on init, our on init class. And now we have to add our JavaScript, and we can just do page client script register client script resource, and now it's asking what is the type. The type is the class library. So class library one dot class one is perfect. And next we have to add the JavaScript file, which is this one. And I think that's all we have to do. And we can now add some JavaScript code to use our embedded resource. Our embedded resource is named this test alert. We'll just add this test alert that will start on page start. Now let's run this page. Run this page, which gives us an error because probably we didn't compile this, didn't build this class. Why it doesn't start? Second. working because I'm using now the embedded resource is embedded. So what did I do wrong? Test alert. Ah, that's sure. Now I remember that it's not working because this is this is not a function. This is wrong. That's the correct that's the correct JavaScript that we wanted. So we will rebuild. We will launch again our test one, and here we go. Okay, now that we have seen how it works, and we have seen in our and we have seen in our source that we have the embedded resource inside, which is this one. We opened it in Chrome, which gives us this easy link to view the embedded resource, but that's all we have to do. Now, I wanted to show you one more thing which could be useful, and we can remove this portion. This portion is code that we have to add in every single page. We can just move it in our class. So let's comment it here. I copied it and comment it on the page. I save the page. I go in our class. I paste inside our class the code we just created. I add the reference we need. Inherit from .web and from here. Wrong. Ah, that's sure what's wrong. I have to inherit from our system.web, from our system.web.ui.page, and now it's working. So now that I inherit from system.web.ui.page, I can just go in our S1 class and inherit rather than from system.web.ui. I can inherit from my class, which is class library one dot class. I have to rebuild this class library, and if I run again this test one browser, it works again as expected. The advantage that we have achieved now is that when we create another web form, for example, a default SPX, and we want to use again the same JavaScript on the page that we used on the page before. Now, what we have to do here is in the source code, rather than overriding the on init, I can just inherit from our class library class one, and that's all I have to do in all my web forms to have my JavaScript embedded inside as a resource. And that's how simple we can create embedded resources. Thank you for watching.